It's gonna be warm.
All right, folks, we will call the Cumberland County Salary Board meeting to order and begin with a roll call, please.
Commissioner Nieder,
Here.
Commissioner Fashi,
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger, Controller Whitcomb.
Here.
Is there any public comment for the Salary Board at this time? Or any other public comment? Anything on?
None online.
Okay. I will entertain a motion for approval of the minutes.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes of April 11th.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. And next up, an approval of the salary board.
I'll make a motion to approve the salary board actions. Second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 Perfect. Is there any other business to come before the salary board? Hearing none, we will adjourn the salary board. So thank you, Al. We are adjourned from the salary board. We will now go into the commissioners meeting and begin with the pledge of allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, Desiree, we'll begin with the roll call on the commissioners.
Commissioner Nieder,
Here.
Commissioner Fashi,
I'm here.
Commissioner Eichelberger.
Present.
Is there any member of the public that would like to make a comment on non-agenda items at this time? Desiree, is there anyone online?
No one online.
If so, raise your hand. Appears not. We will move into the next several items of business, and we are going to alter the agenda just slightly. And we will begin with, instead of number 4, we will begin with item number 5, where we will do a proclamation recognizing first responders. We have a few of those folks in the room here with us, just a couple. Yeah. Would you guys like to come up?
I did back.
So say it again. Sir. Okay. Gentlemen, Cumberland County Commissioners and Public Safety honor first responders with our proclamation, which is as follows. Whereas our first responders are on the front lines every day working to save lives and protecting residents across the county. And whereas during the month of May, we celebrate the work and commitment of fire services, law enforcement, and emergency medical services personnel. And whereas on May 4th, we honor our firefighters who dedicate their careers to protecting life and property despite the numerous dangers they encounter. And whereas National Police Week, May 12th through May 18th, pays special recognition to those law enforcement officers who have lost their lives in the line of duty for the safety and protection of others. And whereas EMS Week, May 19th through May 25th, we celebrate our paramedics, EMTs, and other EMS professionals who work diligently to care for their patients and serve our county in times of crisis. And whereas in 2023, our law enforcement officers responded to more than 185,000 incidents, our fire personnel responded to more than 10,000 incidents, and our EMS personnel ran more than 42,000 calls. And now, therefore, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners and Department of Public Safety hereby honor Cumberland County's first responders, law enforcement, and EMS personnel who are dedicated to protecting and saving the lives of our county residents. Gentlemen, thank you all very much from the bottom of all of our hearts. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm not sure who to hand it to.
We got weird symmetry with the colors.
All right, I'm just gonna do this real quick.
Oh, sorry, I
That's
always
all
do that. Where's
Okay.
my computer?
All right, everyone look here. I'm gonna take a couple pictures. Okay. All right, we're good. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's yours now.
If I could just have a second.
Please do.
I wanted to talk with Mike a little bit about on Easter Sunday, Proud Fire Department had the Northside Village Department fire. And sometimes we forget about the telecommunicators and those folks at the 911 center do their work. But that day, the 911 center brought out an incident management team that supported over 130 residents that provided them comfort and assistance in the time of need. So we have Carlisle Fire Department. I'd like to acknowledge the emergency management staff and the telecommunicators that came out and support our efforts that night.
Oh,
So,
thank you.
you're
very
welcome.
much. Thank you all. Unfortunately, it seems so we had another fire at a hotel recently.
I think it's like it's as fancy as I get, I'm afraid.
That's okay, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are we sitting down?
Yeah, we'll sit. I was trying to think what was coming up next, if we were standing or sitting. Well, we could have rolled into the next one.
There's some
another one.
steps in standings.
Yeah. And I see we have our, the leader, our fearless leader of our conservation district online. And we have a second proclamation that we'd like to make to recognize Conservation District Week. And Carl, I don't know if you wanted to make a few comments about Conservation District?
Sure. Sorry I couldn't be there this morning. It's been quite hectic and I didn't even, I missed the meeting was going to happen this morning. So I apologize for not making it up there. So yeah, the Conservation District is asking the commissioners for proclaiming April 28th through May 4th as Conservation District Week. Conservation District has been very busy here the week leading up to Conservation District Week with our tree seedling sale and yesterday Envirothon down at Pine Grove State Park. So a lot of activities have been going on here in the last week or so, and a lot of good work to be done here in the coming future. The Conservation District has been around 70 years, so a lot of good work in those 70 years. So that's all I have to say on that. So thanks.
Carl, we thank you for your work, and we do have a proclamation. Should we read into the record? I'll read it to you if you can hang on for a minute.
Yep.
Whereas for more than 70 years, the Conservation District has offered technical and financial assistance to assure best management practices for the prevention and erosion and sediment runoff and the improvement of water quality. And whereas the Conservation District works with landowners and local governments to help manage and protect lands and water resources on private and public lands. And whereas the Conservation District's cover crop program provides winter protection from wind and water erosion, helps with weed suppression, infiltration of water and nutrients, prevents soil compaction, and promotes soil health. And whereas the Conservation District has held 21 golf tournaments, raising $48,000 in scholarship funds to help students majoring in agriculture, environmental resource management, conservation, and natural resources and forestry. And whereas through the annual seedling sale, the Conservation District has sold more than 500,000 seedlings to the public over the past 46 years. And whereas the Envirothon, now in its 37th year, tests high school students from across the county on their knowledge of the natural environment. And now, therefore, the Cumberland County Board of Commissioners hereby declares April 28th through May 4th, Conservation District Week, to commemorate the great work accomplished by our Conservation District staff. Carl, thank you. We'll get this out to you, and please thank all your staff. The Envirothon was quite a fun day yesterday. I hope you didn't get rained out up there.
We did get rained on, but luckily we had tents for all the stations. You know, Pennsylvania weather was sunny one minute, raining the next day, and then the sun came back out at awards time. So it was an interesting day.
Thank you. Thank your staff for us, please.
Thank you.
All right, we are going to be getting up again with the presentation of the VFW Dispatcher of the Year Award.
You're up there.
Come on up here.
I got it, Kelly.
And Mike.
Come on up.
Okay. Well, my name is Dick McCoy, and I'm from the local VFW on Trindle Road. And every year we do first responder awards to police, firefighters, EMTs. And this, for the past 2 years, maybe 3, they added 911 dispatch, which, as Chief O'Donnell says, they're very important. In the military, we say tip of the spear because they're the first ones. This year, the award goes to Michael Gutschall, standing here, and Mike has his family in the back row. Mike is a shift supervisor, shift leader, I should say, for 13 personnel. He started in 2007. I can't believe he's been 17 years.
He does.
But anyway, good genes. One of the things I like to do when we write the package up is ask him his most memorable experience as a 911 dispatcher. And of course, it was talking through the delivery of a baby over the phone. And I was thinking this morning, how many doctors can say they've delivered a baby? Not too many, but they do. They have to triage the situation. They have to decide the resources needed. It's just an amazing skill, and we're lucky, I think, to have them here right in the Carlisle area. And so, without further ado, Michael, this is your award for 17 years and more. I'm sure many more coming. Thank you.
All right, do we want to do a
Lunch.
Yep, oh, come on in.
picture?
Wow.
I know.
Just keep going. Someone's usually pointing him on.
Right.
Commissioners, if I could say a brief word. Mike was
Absolutely.
promoted at the end of 2022. He's really hit the ground running last year, and he has initiated our outreach programs. He's reached over 800 elementary school age children to teach them about 911 and emergencies. We've started to bring into our facility homeschool folks and really do a lot of touch a truck events and things out in the community to make them aware of our services, and he's done a really great job with that. And that's beyond his regular duties as a shift supervisor. He always provides his folks with great mentorship, and we appreciate his hard work.
As do we. Thank you. Thank you so much, Mike. Congratulations.
Mike,
Would you like
family
to?
photo and a
Sure.
photo
Would
with
you, would you
the
like
team
to
from
stand?
here?
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you.
and I want to mention too, I've been involved in this for 4 years. We've had 19 award winners. This year, the packages go up to state. For the 4 categories, 2 of them, police, firefighter and EMT were state winners from the Carlisle area. So we're very proud. And then on May 11th, May is National First Responder Month, we're going to provide a appreciation event at the Carlisle Expo Center, May 11th, for all first responders. Barbecue dinner, we're having a DJ, door prizes, and we've invited.
You're not cooking, Mayla?
Right. We've invited, 200 first responders.
Come on in here. Because you guys play such a huge role in supporting him through this, so it's very appropriate that you all are here. Come on in here, Mom.
Can you tell?
I guess.
All right.
Are we in?
Yep, everyone's good.
Okay, kids, look here.
You want one with just family as
Yeah,
well?
that'd be great.
All right. Alright, you're good.
Yeah. Well, they were good to talk.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, Randy.
And the family, if you are, you're free, you do not need to stay through the whole meeting. You're,
Thank you all.
thank you.
Thank you. She really wants to stay. I feel the same way.
All right. That was a fun way to start. Yes, it was. That was great. Stacy, we will turn it over to you.
Yeah, I don't know if I can compete with the rest of the agenda. We'll try to make it as exciting as the first part of the meeting. So the next component of the agenda, as most of you know, is the consent agenda. It's a list of routine items that do not appear to be controversial in nature or require any additional discussion. Now would be the time to make a request if discussion would be desired on any of the agenda items 7 through 15. Okay, hearing none, seeing none, commissioners, I would ask for approval of the consent agenda.
Move to approve.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 Thank you.
And then I would like to actually skip agenda item 16 and come back to that a bit later in our meeting, which would then take us to agenda item 17, which is discussion and approval of the subordination agreement for the shop steading loan contract for Cumberland County Housing and Redevelopment Authority's American Healthcare. Discuss.
So
Hi,
I'll be
Mike.
brief and then I'm gonna turn it over to Chris and his partner. But Steve, who I think is on the call,
Yes.
possibly. Okay, so, hi, everybody. So last year, essentially, the county provided a loan to, this is Chris Patrick, and then his partner Stephen Fleming, for the acquisition of 11 North Railroad Ave in Mechanicsburg. As part of their project, it's a mixed-use project. They are going to be doing some apartments. The county received what's called whole homes money from the state. That money is essentially to help with home rehabs, but also can be used for loans to landlords. For homeowners, it's a grant. For landlords, it is a loan to essentially create affordable housing. So Chris and Steve came to approach the authority and said, this might be actually interesting. We have these apartments we're going to remodel. So we worked with them and they're looking to make 4 of those into affordable housing. So they will be restricted units. The state requires that we do a loan. There is a forgiveness piece, but it has to be in compliance for 15 years and meet some other requirements. But that loan would be for $50,000 per unit. So they would be looking at borrowing $200,000 from us. Now to do that, that means, and I'll let Chris sort of talk through the financing piece, but they are with Fulton Bank, who has the first lien on the property, and Fulton is asking then for some subordinations. I believe now we're in the second stage of the process where we're doing construction. So they have paid off their first loan with Fulton, but now would like their construction piece. So Fulton asked, could the county subordinate their position to a higher amount for construction? You'll see, I provided a little memo. There's a second lien actually from the borough of Mechanicsburg. So Mechanicsburg Borough put in some funding to help with the project. Mechanicsburg Borough has basically approved their subordination. And now we're before the county asking for you to subordinate to the higher amount of Fulton. The whole homes money stays at the very end of everything. It does not impact the county's investment in the project, nor Mechanicsburg Borough. Whole homes will be at the final piece. And that's through approval with the redevelopment authority. So they're working on the loan documents with them. So I'll let Chris talk a little bit more about his project and then answer questions.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Good morning, commissioners. Like Mary said, my partner Steve and I purchased this building. It sits behind the Gingerbread Man in Mechanicsburg. When we bought it, it was, I would say, probably about 50% underutilized. It's about a 10,000 square foot building. There was only probably about 5,000 square feet being used and leased. The rest was vacant. We've retained a salon there that's staying through the process. In the last 6 months, we've demoed out the rest of the building and preparing to turn it from unused commercial space to, as Mary mentioned, apartments. We're building 5 units, and 4 of them we've committed to keeping affordable units in downtown Mechanicsburg. And the financing for this project is kind of what's been not complicated, but as you can see in your agenda piece there, from very different places. So we already had a subordination agreement from the county and from Mechanicsburg for our original acquisition. Now that we've moved from the acquisition and demo into construction, Fulton Bank is requiring an update to the subordination so we can move forward and close on our construction loan. Actually, I think this morning we started framing, so construction is underway for about an hour or 2 now. So we're hoping to have these units opened and leased before the end of this year.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, are you helping with the lease up of the units? I know you probably have a waiting list or.
We will be, so
Okay.
we've talked to Chris and Patrick about possibly taking voucher holders. There's a lot of benefits to landlords. We do all the legwork essentially, and you're helping us, so we've talked to them already through that process.
Yep, very good. Thank you. Does anyone have any questions of Mary or Chris? No? All right, then I believe we need an emotion.
I'll move for the approval of the subordination agreement as outlined.
A second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, folks.
Thank you for your support.
Okay, that then takes us to agenda item 18, and I'll call in Jamie Ryber to discuss the contracts for children and youth services. Good morning, Jamie.
Morning. The first contract we have is BCL Partners LLC, doing business as Leading Youth for Excellence. This is a new contract for 23-24. This is the old Schaffner Center in Harrisburg, if you recall that ever. It is a residential program. It is $785.09 a day, which is unfortunately pretty high. However, this was the only place that would take one of our youth. So we are entering into a contract with them for that. The second contract is for actually fiscal year 24-25 for Bucks County Youth Center. This is a secure detention facility. Again, rate is increasing to $650 a day from $400 a day. They are citing their overall operating cost as increasing, but then also their direct care expenses for the youth, such as clothing, food, recreational activities, transportation, all of those things. This is also a provider that we do not often use because it is a county-run facility and their county takes precedence over anybody else. So we don't use this often, but we do like to have it available if needed. Any questions?
Jamie, the one comment you made about BCL Partners, you indicated it's the only available place that you were able to find.
Yes, we have placement coordinators that reach out to every licensed provider in Pennsylvania when they can. And based on the needs of that particular child, this was the only place that was willing to take her. Yeah.
It's very, you guys are in a very difficult position with these placements. So
yeah,
thank your staff for going to great lengths to make sure people were taken care of safely. So I have. So if anyone would like to make a motion.
I'll move to approve the contracts for children and youth services as listed on agenda item 18.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jamie. That takes us then to agenda item 19, and we have Paul Polensky here from Criminal Justice Services to talk about a contract with Abbott Redwood Toxicology Laboratories.
Commissioners, this is a no-cost contract that primarily deals with data security issues that IMTO has for a data management system with Abbott Redwood Toxicology. The drug testing products and services will be purchased under a national consortium But in order to use their data management system and use electronic devices for an electronic chain of custody, IMTO had some concerns about data security. And over the last 5 months, we've worked this out, and that's what this agreement is for.
Any questions for Paul? None? Gary?
I move for approval of the contract.
Okay.
I second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you.
Thanks, Paul. Long time coming, huh?
Yes, indeed.
Okay, so that takes us then to agenda item 20, and we have Adrienne Vaughn from the office, District Attorney's Office Victim Services Office, to discuss several contracts.
Yes, good morning, Commissioners.
Welcome.
I'm here before you today to seek approval for the submission of the application to PCCD on our Stop Violence Against Women grant. This is a grant in the amount of $125,000. We've been receiving it for a number of years. Part of PCCD's requirement in accepting this grant is there are specific allocations per that money. So 25% to law enforcement, 25% to prosecution, 30% to victim services, and the remaining 20% is discretionary. This is kind of a twofold, I guess, contract here. I've never had to do a contract for the other agencies. We've in the past done pass-through agreements. So the 30% in the victim services discretion is passed through to domestic violence services of Cumberland and Perry counties and the YWC of Carlisle and Cumberland County. We split that amount evenly this year, so they would each receive about $18,750. So I'm seeking, I guess, approval for the contract for domestic violence services as well as for ourselves. It's a little bit confusing, but
Thank you. And in your application, please let PCCD know they can certainly send us more money.
Yes.
If they would like to do so.
I'm happy with it. It's remained that amount. We haven't seen a decrease in stop funding, gosh, in years. I mean, this has been a grant. We've been receiving the same amount. So I'll take it as it is right now, but I would definitely like to see it grow a little bit more as well. I agree.
Has that discretionary portion always been around 30%?
The discretionary is 20%. So it's been that way for maybe the last two grant cycles. And we've kind of looked at it as needed. For this year's grant application, we are putting all of that discretionary funding to the prosecutor's salary because she went from part-time to full-time. She's doing a lot. That position's doing a lot. So we felt that was needed more than.
So it's the discretion of your office?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Great. Sounds good. Thanks.
Thank you.
I will move to approve the contracts for the District Attorney's Office Victim Services as set forth on agenda item 20.
I will second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Adrienne.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thank you, Adrienne. And that takes us to agenda item 21. And Tammy Bender is here to discuss the Questica contract for finance.
Good morning, Commissioners. Finance is requesting approval of a contract which is going to migrate Questica from on-prem to the cloud. The reason why we're asking to move to the cloud is the current latest version Questica has for on-prem is 2023. And then they'll support it for 2 years, and mid 2025, we're not going to have any support unless we move to the cloud. Along with this contract is read-only SQL access to the database. So they'll basically be giving us like a data warehouse where the data will be stored. We can connect to that to produce the budget document, which then will allow us to come off of our caseware contract that we have, which will save us money in the long run. The contract is estimated at $19,750, which is 39 hours to migrate to the cloud. We actually have 2 hours of a credit. They call them engagement rewards credits. So that's $9,250. We'll have an annual hosting fee of $8,000 each year and an annual read-only access to Rosa database for $2,500. Now, come in the future when Lawson moves to the cloud, they get a data warehouse. This is something too that Questica could move over to that data warehouse too. So the total's $19,750. We are increasing annual fees to 10,500, but it should be offset by our caseware software that we want to do away with, which currently is 23,750. So it's an overall savings of $12,650 a year.
Very good.
Questions?
You're pleased with Questica, Tammy used?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Very, it's just the document side of producing the document, not as push button as we would like, a little more cumbersome than what we would like. So we've actually got it migrated back to the software we were using before. More push button, quicker, easier. I can say in 35 years of working, it's the first software that's really kind of done me in. Brandon, he struggles with it some, but he's pretty good, and Carrie, but it's a beast, and we've got it migrated back to much more manageable software and cheaper.
Okay.
So we just
Better and cheaper, two good words.
Yes. And like Carrie speak to between caseware and what we're going with.
Yeah, data linker is a lot easier. We can make adjustments if we want to. Caseware it's very difficult.
Okay.
You really
A lot of it has to go through the consultant to make changes, like formatting changes.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, so it's,
More manageable by us.
Yes.
Very good.
we can make the changes versus having to have somebody pay somebody to do it.
Perfect.
So we're just asking for action on the contract today.
Okay. Someone like to make a motion? I will move to approve the Questica contract for finance as set forth on agenda item 21.
I will second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioners. Thanks, Tammy. Carrie.
Thanks.
Okay, that takes us to agenda item 22, and Holly Sherman has joined us online to discuss the contract addendum for human resources. Morning, Holly.
Good morning. Commissioners, the addendum with Daring Consulting Group is due to us adjusting the scope of work specific to our diversity, equity, and inclusion initiative. We decided to bring some more of the work in-house, utilizing county facilitators for the ongoing introductory diversity and equity inclusion training, which resulted in a reduction of the contract with Daring of $9,817.47. This is the retainer contract for the 2024 year. Any questions on that?
Holly, so the final amount now is going to be 129,172.
That's correct, yes.
The only question I have on that is, we had discussion several years ago now that we have brought in internal capability, and they were to be supplemented for a time by outside contract. And my question is, do you now envision that we're going to be running both tracks permanently, or because I don't think that's what was originally planned?
Well, we do continue to develop more and more training. So we do have one in-house dedicated training and talent development manager who is also still doing other HR work. So as long as we continue to develop training and offer training at the pace that we have, I do envision us having both Daring or any other consultants, but Daring and our in-house trainer, both of those aspects.
Okay.
So Holly, I just want to clarify something that you, in your statement, when you say you you continue to work with Daring, that is on other training, not specific to DEI, as that is no longer a component of the contract.
That is correct. So just as a refresher, and I apologize, we did present this contract last fall. Each year, the HR team sits down with Daring and develops a strategy for our training and talent development program for the following calendar year. And that is how the retainer is developed. The remainder of the retainer for 2024 will be focused on primarily the leadership development, which goes hand in hand with the Leadership Academy that has been developed to launch this fall with the Emerging Leader Program track.
Thank you, Holly. And it was well presented by Jen.
Yes.
To us.
Thank you.
Us informed on this. I will have further comment on it, in the future, because when this was first proposed, like over 12 years ago, the idea was that we were gonna teach our department heads, supervisors who didn't necessarily have management experience, how to be better fiscal managers. And it seems like the emphasis is really light on that and more on soft skills. And I'm hoping at some point we're gonna pivot back to making sure our people are thinking in terms of efficiencies and such, as was originally intended.
I do believe you'll see what you're looking for with the department head certificate that will be coming in 2025, where we're bringing in the administrative departments such as finance, the commissioner's office, facilities, IMTO, to present to our department heads to talk about budgeting, contract management, all of those aspects. Again, that's part of the department head certificate, but we are starting with the emerging leader for this year. Can't do it all in 1 year, unfortunately.
Appreciate that. All right, thank you.
Any other questions? Nope, I entertain a motion.
I'll move to approve the Daring Consulting Group contract addendum for human resources.
I'll second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Holly.
Thank you.
Thank you, Holly. That takes us to agenda item 23, and Sue Harbaugh is joining us to discuss the contract for MHIDD. Good morning, Sue.
Good morning. So the contract that we have today is intellectual and developmental disabilities contract for Bellow Nurses LLC. It is a new contract for fiscal year 23-24 that we started at the end of March, and it'll run through June 30th. It is for in-home and community supports, and the contract total will be $1,728. Any questions?
I'll move for approval of the Bellow Nurses contract as stated.
I'll second. It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thanks, Sue. Thank you, commissioners. And that takes us to agenda item 24, and Bob Shively is here to discuss the contract addendum for public safety.
Morning, commissioners. Requesting your approval of a change order. It'll be change order number 2 as an addendum to our Motorola Solutions contract for public safety. It's in the amount of $874,119. This combines and bundles our equipment, software, and licensing for both the radio recorder as well as the phone and data recording equipment for the new regional phone system. We were able to bundle that and negotiate about a 50% in savings with doing that regionally now. In addition to the audio recording of all phone lines and radio channels, it does provide the quality assurance software for position screen recording. So it'll record actually your steps as you're clicking on the screen for both QA reviews and or if we run into issues of what was clicked or things like that, as well as it also has bundling of incident recordings for incident subpoenas, right to knows, things like that, where we have to now do that manually to search through the recordings one at a time to find all those for an incident. So it'll do that automatically. So if you're so inclined, I request your approval.
So Bob, am I hearing better and cheaper once again today?
Well, it's definitely better. But yes, we were able to, like I said, I think we took advantage of both tying into the regional group with the 4 counties together, and we're buying equipment to add add capacity for our recording equipment, as well as then we'll be able to save on maintenance moving forward.
So, but as overall savings and
Yes.
what you had originally anticipated.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, nothing is cheap in your world. That's
You're right. No.
I will move to approve the Motorola Solutions contract addendum for public safety.
I will second.
It's moved and seconded. All in favor, say aye. 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 Thank you.
Thank you, commissioners. Thanks, Bob. And that will take us back to agenda item 16. I'll call on our solicitor to discuss.
Commissioners, this is a resolution requested by a consultant doing work for PennDOT. You've done versions of this in the past. And this authorizes both Kirk Stoner or your chief clerk to execute contracts under the ECMS system and the what's called the RAS system. They will still come forward to you first for approval, And then they'll be electronically signed by either one of those two individuals.
Any questions? No questions? Gary?
No question, so I'll, for approval. Agreement as outlined by the solicitor.
A second. So moved and seconded, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Thank you. That takes us then to back to agenda item 25, which is Commissioner's Liaison Reports, and Commissioner Niederer, I'll start.
Okay, first and foremost, I want to extend such gratitude and appreciation to everyone that participated in conducting the primary election. It was quite a machine that Bethany has in the operations out there. And I appreciated witnessing firsthand all of the safeguards and protections that are in place to assure that we are operating a safe, secure, and accurate election. And it could not be done without a team, a very, very large team of people working in tandem. So thank you all. I will roll into a couple of updates on items that I attended. I attended my first Commission for Women meeting. I was impressed. It was a dynamic group of women that are really working within the community to understand the issues that women are facing in Cumberland County. They have a very full calendar of events this year, which I'm looking forward to supporting as they were. And I'm hopeful that Annie Huff from our Aging will be doing a webinar for Lunch and Learn that they were trying to line up on assisting aging parents. That's, I believe, the next up item. We all participated in a demonstration at the Bosler Library of their very cool book locker. It's kind of like going to Amazon. Getting the book that you want or returning one. Commissioner Fashi and I toured the beautiful YMCA facility in Carlisle, and they shared their future plans for improvements to the facility and all of the good outreach that they are doing within the community. Additionally, it was our pleasure, Commissioner Fashi and I, to help judge the contests out at Public Safety. It was desserts and chili for their On two separate occasions.
On two separate occasions, that's true. In celebration of Emergency Responders Week, and the group had a real good, fun sense of camaraderie, which I appreciated. Additionally, Commissioner Fashi and I attended last evening the county's victim service. We were happy to support the victims service agencies in attending their rally last night. And Jean, you did a very nice job welcoming people to that event. We were at the Envirothon, as Carl mentioned, and that too was a big orchestration. I was a little concerned as I had to leave a bit early as the storms were rolling in, what they were going to do with the 60 people out in the field at Fuller Lake, but they had it well prepared. Last but not least, this board continues to meet with every department in the county to look for those savings. And I believe we have leadership that is very, very focused on minding the operations of their programs and looking actively for ways to save money. We have about, I believe, 5 departments remaining to have those conversations with. At last check, we had removed about $1.7 million from the original budget that is not going to be expended in this year. So I am very pleased with everyone's approach and diligence that they have brought to those meetings, and they are proactively looking for ways to improve operations and save money. And I believe that the feedback from the departments has been overwhelmingly positive as well. Just 2 updates on committee meetings. I did attend the Planning Commission meeting on Thursday, the 18th. They approved a rezoning for a parcel in Upper Allen Township, and they approved a rezoning request in North Newton Township. I believe those minutes are online if you want more information on that. Additionally, they approved updating the Monroe Township 7-year agricultural security area plan. And both Elizabeth Grant and Stephanie Williams put a significant amount of time in assisting the township with that update. And I wanted to extend a thank you to both of them for their efforts. Kirk Stoner previewed the comprehensive plan that update that they've been working on, and it's coming along really nicely, and we'll be getting a draft within the next couple of months. Steve Hoffman also shared the 2023 growth trends report summarizing the development that occurred over the past year, and that too will be presented to the board. And when I attended the meeting for the elected officials at Cumberland Valley High School, they gave such a great shout out to Steve Hoffman and Kirk Stoner for the planning tools that they're implementing on our website. They use them and rely on them greatly. Next, I attended the CADIC board meeting just earlier this week, and there was discussion, and the board was informed about the concern over the delay in CADIC's provision of their year-end financial statement reports that are required to be submitted to this board. It is causing delay at our county level reporting, and I continue to impress upon the leadership the urgency of remedying this matter. Mary Kuna approached the Board of CADIC to request a change in the bylaws of the Real Estate Collaborative to not require someone in her position, that is the director of the Redevelopment Authority, to be required to serve on that real estate board, as there were conflicts. And Mary is here if she chooses to speak on that, but it was received well by the CADIC board and understood that those conflicts, while usually positive, they're working together, but would require her limited ability to vote on action. But it was made very clear that it's very important for the Redevelopment Authority to be very engaged with CADIC, and everyone supports that. The tourism grants continue to be reviewed and approved after a hiatus. And the tourism group is becoming more engaged with Carlisle Productions and showing up at their events, which I think is going to be great. The trails and tours continue to be successful, and the lodging data around Cumberland County is still performing very well on occupancy and revenue standards. If anyone would like to attend the tourism group, they're hosting a roundtable to discuss their experience trails on May 7th. And they continue to hire staff and replace staff. There was a report that was given some information, so I would encourage you to look at their minutes. Just some of the new report revealing some of the tourism dollars that were in Cumberland County, and that travel and tourism industry brings $887 million in visitor spending across the county, and directly supports 6,103 jobs. So the reporting is very interesting if you all would like to see it. That is it for me.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Barshi.
Well, good morning, Cumberland County. So on April 12th, I went out to Shippensburg University. The South Mountain Partnership had their partnership-wide meeting. They do that twice a year, once in the spring, once in the fall. And of course, the purpose of the South Mountain Partnership is to promote and preserve the region's landscape. Last week, we know that we celebrated National Library Week, and the library board also met. Carolyn was here yesterday, gave us a very nice update. April 20th, I was at Bosler Library in the morning for the opening of the Children's Garden. And that was really, what a great project. And I'm just so pleased that the county was able to participate in the funding of that project. But lots of people there, kids having a great time. I would encourage both of my colleagues to go over and check it out.
Thank you for attending on our behalf.
Of course. And you saw the beautiful plaque that they gave us on it. So I was going to mention the Carlisle YMCA tour in the Bake Off Public Safety. On April 18th, the Housing and Redevelopment Authority met, and Mary, I hope I do this justice. Okay, here it is. So these meetings are so interesting. I'm still learning so much about the housing and redevelopment authority. They have a potential to assist community garden efforts with Dickinson Farm. They met with Senators Casey's office to discuss grant needs, and that's so important. And Mary, thank you for continuing that engagement and dialogue with Senator Casey's office. It's one of the ways that we influence policy and procedures. Thank you very much. They also toured Senator Casey around Newport Square and the hotel. And Toby Kiesman and Tracy Smith coordinated and maintained and offered the hospitality for that. Mary met with the New Cumberland Borough and discussed multiple projects, including affordable housing. She toured upcoming and completed projects with the Borough Council member and worked on assisting with some proposal considerations. She met with Pinoni to discuss workforce development and whole homes, and there will be a proposal in the future on that. Our Housing Choice Voucher Program, our waiting list, we have 2,957 total people on the waiting list for that. And in Cumberland and Perry County alone, there's 819 people. So that's a number to keep in mind. The Redevelopment Authority is supportive of the Downtown Carlisle Association and their efforts to secure funding to revitalize the High Street mural. So great community involvement there. And of course, the subcontract for planning assistant under the Cumberland Plans Grant Program has made it through. And of course, the Board of Commissioners approved that in the past for a $10,000 grant. Mary, anything I missed on that? Oh my God, okay, thanks. Thank you. 419 Conservation District had its annual tree sale. That was a fabulous, fabulous event. April 23rd, not only did we have a primary election, but the Conservation District also met. And there's some exciting things coming out of that district, and this is one of them. And I know that we talk about tech and moving ourselves into the next century. And this is just one of those little things that's going to make a huge difference. They bought a plotter. The Conservation District and Planning are going to share a plotter. Prints plans. It's beautiful. They printed a plan, showed it to us. I know it seems like a little thing, but it's a huge deal. It's a big deal, really big deal for them. Darla Romberger is the Conservation District's nominee for the Cumberland County Conservation District Educator of the Year Award. I don't know if you have been able to meet Darla. You have.
I have, and I've seen her post at Cumberland Valley High School. They had her picture out on the banner.
And not only is she involved in conservation, but she is so involved in 4-H and just a fabulous educator. I'm so glad to see that she was the nominee. And the Farmer of the Year nominee is Neil Darhauer. And he owns and operates a grass-fed beef operation in Lower Frankfort Township. So those are exciting things at the Conservation District. Just so that my colleagues are aware, on FPRs, there will be another meeting in May. And I have not heard a word on potential legislation, on if a bill has even been put together, but Carl did say there will be another meeting in May. The last time I did an update on conservation, I talked about those priority reviews that the Conservation District has to do. And this is because the Governor Shapiro, wants to make sure that anyone that applies for a permit in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania gets it in a timely manner. I don't know if you saw the Sentinel last week, big article, big picture of a cow, but the Commonwealth lost a business, an agribusiness, to New York for a variety of reasons, and one including the length of time it takes to get a permit in Pennsylvania. So our Conservation District is being directed by DEP when we get a priority review to do it very quickly. And so that is now taking up a considerable amount of time there. In fact, so much time that they're having a hard time getting out in the field. I mean, I know Carl has a plan for a part-time person to assist with that, but I think that's something that, and I mentioned this to Carl, get in front of that before it gets out of control, because it's not going away. That will not go away. That will continue to be a requirement. I would remind you to use the Cumberland County Library System, and I think that's it. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner. Commissioner Eichelberger.
Yeah, okay, just a handful of items, in a similar vein to the recycling. I have an update for Affordable Housing Trust and teachers present, so I have to be very careful how I do this update. So Mary, weigh in if I get any of this wrong, but I'm gonna kind of rely on your written summary that you would provide on short notice. So the county is required to provide HUD with a 5-year consolidated plan, which determines the choices that we make in investing in housing, very key field right now. And this involves surveys, outreach, and data digging. I'm not sure what data digging is, but we'll save that. Planning Commission provided a $10,000 planning grant to help with the cost of it. Affordable Housing Trust has approved a revised budget and is offering $16,000 toward the plan. The rest of those funds will come from admin fees from the federal grant that require the plan. Sounds like quite an undertaking. So good luck with that and keep us updated on that. Also, the Affordable Housing Trust is looking for additional members. And you've been working with Samantha, you mentioned, so to try to get that word out and make sure that we have knowledgeable candidates who we can connect with to help us do the good work of the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. So those appointments will ultimately come to the commissioners. Anything you want to add on that? Okay, all right, thank you. Okay, on recycling, handful of items. Justin sent me a written summary today. I haven't been able to touch base with him. He's a busy man these days. So they hosted the 902 recycling grant pre-application meeting. That is, the 902 is where we apply to the state for funding that gives us our capital equipment, the grinding equipment that's so much in our discussions here recently. That meeting took place between the municipalities and DEP. It was all day Monday and all day Tuesday. So it's a serious undertaking. Judd said he attended the wood processing equipment demo day, which happens to be where our service provider is located. They were the host of it. So he got a chance of seeing the damaged grinder that we have in their hands right now. It must have been quite an eye opener. He said it's sitting in their shop in pieces. So all this equipment he's been working on all these years has now been essentially dissected right before his eyes. He said they're waiting on parts from Caterpillar to get that finalized. Really doesn't have any additional information on the disposition of that just yet. So he did say he's glad they took the route to do the full engine teardown because they found a number of other problems that the equipment's in pretty bad shape. So it's good to know about some of these other problems with this very expensive equipment that we're very dependent on. He said they're going to try to fix as much of what they have without replacement as possible. That should help save us some money. It's going to be at least a month until it is ready. So that's perhaps a little longer than we were expecting, but there are other items, of course, the insurance is factoring into that. No new information on that. Just a quick summary of the household hazardous waste event that was held April 11th. Let's see, they had 354 visitors, cars, folks bringing stuff, 354. Total amount of drop off was 32,240 pounds. I think that's kind of in line with what they've been getting. He's going to send final paperwork through, and that'll come to us as Board of Commissioners, and then that's the request that goes to DEP, and we're eligible for 50% reimbursement on all those costs. So we've been very successful with that so far, and hopefully that will continue. Friday, he said they're meeting with the engineer architect on the recycling center drawings. I don't think anything has happened since they had the initial discussion on the conceptual use of the building. But he said they also spoke to your folks at Public Safety in regards to the future of the training center, which has been on and off the radar over the years. So hopefully that's productive. It's a good resolution of that. The only other item I have is I got a written update from Annie Huff regarding aging. I was on that call, but still somewhat new to some of the vocabulary used there, and We were actually kind of multitasking at the time because of the situation in here. So she was kind enough to send a very nice written formula, written summary rather. Just as a reminder, there's two major things they're working on right now. I think she reported out on these to us in the orientation meeting. We have the 4-year plan and of course the transportation issue. The 4-year plan, the advisory board at its recent meeting approved the outcomes for that plan. That now goes to the Commonwealth and they will have input and corrections on that before it comes to us. And then the commissioners will have final approval on that. I'm sure we'll have more dialogue with Annie regarding that. She has forwarded on a copy of the goals outlined for the plan. On the transportation issue, this comes up every few years. They're going to be raising the cost per trip to consumers for the trips that we are providing. She reported in calendar year 2023, those trips cost the county $138,000, and the same amount of trips, hypothetically, if you had the same number of trips at the new rate, that would go to $174,000. That's a result of rising costs of providing the service. She said there's increases in meals and provider costs and everything else, so they can't really continue to cover it with the dollars that they've been covering it with so far. She wanted to point out that neighboring counties don't cover the age 60 to 64 at all, and many charge co-pays for those above 65. We don't do that. Anybody over 60, Cumberland is covering all of that. Lottery chips in a good chunk for a portion of those trips for those who are 65 and older. So they're going to start making the consumer pay also for no-shows. It has been a small problem, but something that's on their radar. Folks who reserve the transportation and then aren't following through at their end of the bargain. So that does involve a certain amount of cost. Doesn't happen super frequently, but all of them do cumulatively add up. So advisory board is approved moving this to the commissioners for discussion and consideration. That will ultimately come back to us. And I think she's going to have a discussion with Stacy later this week about some of the background on that before it comes up, but just a little bit of foreknowledge that that is coming to us. And we'll probably hear a little bit about that. Other things, farmers market nutrition voucher application. The applications are coming in. Those involve checks of $50 per person. Again, this year, same as last year. You got to be 60 years or older or turn 60 by the end of this year, calendar end of the year. Income guidelines, $27,861 for a single person household, $37,814 for 2 people in the household. So got to qualify. The checks are mailed at the end of May, along with a list of the farmers markets who are participating in the program. So that continues to push ahead. Deadline for applications, September 20th. Not very far off, really, when you think of it. Also, in Old Senior Center, we've had some discussion here about how they had to close because of flooding in the building. They say they now should be back in the building by the end of the month. So hopefully they'll get that back online. That's a very valued center. So looking forward to having that back online. Everything else is kind of really minor. So I'll just leave it at that. And that concludes what I have.
That takes us then to agenda item 26, and I would like to report that we had 2 executive sessions, one on April 11th, 2024 at 1 p.m. regarding negotiations, and another on April 18th, 2024 at 9:30 a.m. regarding personnel. Now ask if any other business is to come before the board today. Hearing none, seeing none, we are adjourned. Thanks.